Next to address us is Getenga. Jared worked for the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, for more than 20 years in banking supervision and deposit protection. His banking supervision experience was largely in policy formulation on banking sector stability. He also worked as CBK-appointed statutory advisor, statutory manager, and liquidation agent in several troubled banks. Jared was later appointed financial sector specialist with the Financial and Legal Sector Technical Assistance Project, FLSTAP, funded by the World Bank IDA, DFID, and GOK for purposes of coordinating technical assistance to Kenya's financial and legal sectors. On secondment from CBK, he founded the Kenya Credit Information Sharing Initiative in 2019 as a vehicle to establish the credit information sharing mechanism in Kenya. Having registered a nationwide credit providers association, AKCP, in 2014, he was appointed founder, CEO, and helped develop mechanisms for self-regulation, alternative dispute resolution, credit scoring, credit risk management, etc. He is a committee member of the Africa Credit Information Sharing Association, ACISA, and the International Committee for Credit Reporting, ICCR. AKCP rebranded to CIS Kenya in order to align more closely to its mandate. With that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jared Getenga. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to have you here this morning, and thank you, Charles, for a warm welcome. We, coming from the rest of Africa, we really do feel welcome this morning. Thank you very much for this exciting opportunity. When we at CIS Kenya first conceptualized the thought of running the event jointly with SACRA, we thought let's just call up Mahauta and see whether she would be interested in, complementing our little experience from Kenya. And she was very, very gracious. Initially, she was like, wow, do we do that kind of thing here at SACRA? But later, when we talked a little more, it appeared that it was extremely relevant that we synergize with SACRA and put together this important conference. So thank you again, Mahauta. Thank you, Charles, for welcoming us here. We do think we have a lot in common with the SACRA model. In CIS Kenya, our original need for establishment was just to get the platform, the mechanism off the ground. And so most of our energies were focused on relationship building with the participants in the credit market, just to get it off the ground, put together data specifications, templates, more what I would call rudimentary infrastructure. But with time, we have realized that we need to put in a lot more energy into building the framework to be more responsive to credit market needs that are fast evolving, and that would be definitely true in Kenya and other markets in Africa that are really becoming digital at a very, very fast pace. So we have a lot to learn from one another, and we are delighted that SACRA agreed to sign an MOU with us, so that it's not just about this conference, but about many other things that we can use to build our frameworks across the rest of Africa. Through our relationship with SACRA, we invited NCR, and I'm very, very grateful that Lynette, you said yes to our request that we make a tripartite arrangement here. We know how busy you are now. I've checked on how NCR is actively doing stuff. I know you just launched public awareness, a consumer awareness, nationwide consumer campaign on money management and debt counseling. So we'd like to know a little more about how that works, because one of our pillars at CIS Kenya is also consumer protection. Consumer awareness. And so that partnership that you now have with the FSCA is something we are looking at carefully to see how we can borrow some ideas We would like to thank also Astrid of the FSCA who agreed to come here and join us in this conference. We are so grateful. Obviously, we are aware that NCR, you're doing something else. You just launched last week with the IFC and the SECO, phase 2 of the South Africa Credit Reporting and Financial Inclusion Program. We are interested in knowing how that's going to work, especially for the underserved markets. We'd like to assure you that our partnership with SACRA is intended to derive a lot more from this market so that we could learn and share experiences across the continent. So when we were first established, we were given a very big task to lead the environment in Kenya, but also we thought we could spread our wings and just get together the rest of Africa to think with us how we could develop this mechanism for the benefit of the credit markets across the continent. And one of the things we thought of doing very early is to organize conferences where we could share these experiences. And indeed, in Kenya, we have organized 5 regional conferences, 6 actually, 6 within the country over the last 10 or so years of our existence. And they have been extremely interesting, and we want to thank, again, IFC for not only supporting us in this one in terms of giving us ideas and being available to advise, but also for the other 6 conferences. Just last year, we ran our conference in Mombasa, and many of you were there. IFC was extremely useful to us in terms of insight, helping shape our conference ideas. And last year we were discussing the concepts around alternative data and how that needs to be embedded into the traditional credit data to make credit markets more robust. So again, thanks Luz, thanks Colin for always being available to give us your thoughts. Before that, I recall just as COVID was beginning to ravage the whole world, IFC came for our 5th conference in February of 2020. I don't know how courageous you were to make that trip, but many other parties came from across Africa, again to Nairobi, just to share with us. That time we were thinking more about the interconnected nature of the different pillars of credit infrastructure. Talk about the collateral registries, the credit information sharing framework, and others, just to see how they could work together to strengthen our markets. So we thank IFC for always being available to support our ideas. In Kenya, we have had to work very closely with Financial Sector Deepening Trust, Kenya, and we have had very good collaboration with the likes of Kenya Bankers Association, together with the credit bureaus. And we are grateful that FSD Kenya is well represented in this conference. So we have come a big delegation from Kenya. The Kenya Bankers Association is here. They have said we'll walk with you this journey, even if that means traveling all the way to South Africa. The Central Bank of Kenya is well represented here today. We have representation from some of our members who include commercial banks and SACCOs and MFIs. So we like the fact that we have a very strong collaborative arrangement. And so in particular, I want to appreciate one SACCO that sent us 4 delegates. I think that was really amazing. The STEAMA SACCO, we really appreciate that. And so we are here to think about the importance of the data governance frameworks. At CIS Kenya, we want to move away from just thinking about putting together a framework that works. We want to move to a framework that really impacts the credit markets. And we think that like SACRA, whose focus has been data quality, would like to borrow a leaf from how SACRA does their focus on data quality, because we know that the mechanism is as good as it can be relied upon. And so if the players are not submitting their data regularly, frequently, updated data, accurate data, then we know that the mechanism will only grow, if at all, at a very, very slow pace, and its usefulness for risk management will be completely compromised. And so this partnership, we hope, will help us achieve that element of data governance that will be able to inculcate among credit providers the different facets of data governance, so that it's not just about submitting accurate data, but it is being able to collect it and make it usable and accessible even within the institutions, and that the data protection principles will also be very well protected and governed. And so we are having lots of workshops in Nairobi and in its environs, working with credit institutions to promote issues around data protection and related aspects of data governance. So we are very grateful to each one of you, and especially to the sponsors, as has just been mentioned. And we are thanking John, who will be speaking shortly from Credit Info. We are thanking and we're thanking Lee and Janine, the team right back there. We are very grateful that you could trust us to work with you in this conference. We want to thank Gideon and Sam of Metropole, as well as thanking Marina from the CPB for trusting us. I know that we'll be meeting the SECO team later on Friday. We really appreciate and look forward to having a very engaging program in the course of this week. Thank you very much.